You know that feeling you get when you check into a hotel room? That little moment of unease when you slide that deadbolt and you can't help but wonder who had the key right before you? Well, what happens when that little worry becomes a full-blown nightmare? Today, we're going to break down the anatomy of hotel horror. We'll look at 4 real-life stories to figure out just how a place of rest can become a place of absolute terror.
I mean, really think about it. How safe are you? When you close that door, you're putting all your trust in a lock, maybe a flimsy chain, and this deep-seated hope that you are totally, completely alone.
And that's the whole deal, right? A hotel room is supposed to be your little bubble for the night, a clean, sterile space where the chaos of the outside world just can't get to you. It's a promise, a basic contract of trust. But what happens when that trust gets shattered? It almost never starts with a big scare. Real horror, the kind that sticks with you, it starts with something small, something that's just off. You might even try to ignore it, but your gut knows something's wrong. Let's look at how it began in these stories. For our first person, it all started with a smell. Not even a bad one, but it was just so specific, so personal. In a place that's supposed to be completely anonymous, that's the first clue that this room has a secret you're not supposed to know.
In our second story, the signs are a lot more physical. I mean, this isn't just a weird vibe. This is evidence. It's proof that someone was in this room after housekeeping left. Someone who just sat on the corner of the bed, right where you're about to sleep.
And here we go again in a third hotel room. It's such a tiny thing, a crooked pillow. But when you're all alone, in the quiet, a small thing like that becomes a huge question. Who moved it and why? Suddenly, it doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like a message. And that's the key, right? These little details, they're designed to mess with your instincts. The weird smell, the wrinkle, the pillow, they're all little signals that the rules of your private space have already been broken. The sanctuary was breached before you even got there. And this is the moment that vague, creepy feeling turns into pure, cold terror. The what if becomes an oh no. This is the point where our guests knew, without a doubt, they were in serious danger. Just look at how this escalates. The first note, terrifying, but the threat is still outside. The second note, okay, wow, they've been in here. But that third note, that changes everything. The barrier is gone. The monster isn't at the door anymore. It's already in the house. For another guest, the threat wasn't a note. It was a sound. The sound of a doorknob turning. It's your only defense, that little piece of metal, and you can hear someone on the other side actively trying to defeat it. And then there's this. This is next-level horror. Imagine waking up to the sound of breathing. Not from the hallway, not from the next room, from inside your closet. The intruder isn't trying to get in. They're already there, hiding, waiting. Our fourth story is just bizarre. It's not a person in the traditional sense. A hotel worker is alone in a locked pool area, and a lifesaver just gets thrown into the water. It breaks the laws of physics. It suggests there's a presence here that doesn't play by our rules. Now, sure, you could say our minds play tricks on us in quiet places. You know, you hear the ice machine down the hall and think it's footsteps. It's a real thing. But in these stories, that rational explanation gets thrown out the window pretty fast because the vague sounds become very, very real. And this is that exact moment of confirmation. The guests from the second story didn't just hear something, they sat up in bed and they saw it. A dark shape, a black mass, just standing over their bag. At that point, all bets are off. The nightmare is real and it's looking through your stuff. So you'd think once you get out of the room, you're safe. The horror is over. But a lot of the time, what happens next, when you talk to the staff, that's a whole other kind of terror. The denial, the shrugs, it makes you feel like you're completely on your own. I mean, just look at this breakdown. The official story is always something simple, something they can explain away. Oh, he must have stolen a key. But the truth is always so much worse. A stolen key doesn't explain the security footage of a man trying the door over and over. Maybe you had a nightmare, is what they say to the person who heard breathing even when they know a housekeeper is missing. And the featureless figure? No explanation at all, just silence. And what about the notes under the door? They find actual physical evidence, a broken window latch. An employee sees it, but later, the hotel just denies it, pretends it never happened. They're basically trying to gaslight the victim into thinking they imagined the whole thing. Okay, this might be the single most chilling detail from any of these stories.
The guest who heard breathing in the closet is told by one staff member that the room was cleaned, but then another one reveals the truth. The night housekeeper just stopped showing up a week ago. Oh, and she still has her keys. All of a sudden, that breathing in the closet has a very, very human origin.
And remember our fourth story? At the pool, the worker feels this intense, unnatural cold. But when they check the thermostat, it reads a perfectly comfortable 68 degrees. That detail tells you everything. This wasn't a draft. It was a presence.
So why did these stories get under our skin so much? Why do they stick with us long after we've checked out? It's because there's no resolution. The unanswered questions are always scarier than the monster you can actually see.
These are the images that get stuck in your head. The shadow over your luggage, the sound of breathing from a dark closet, heavy breathing outside your new room, a figure with no face, a missing person who might still have a key. These are the loose ends that make it impossible to feel safe.
Let's just come back to this line one more time. It's the absolute core of the fear, because it breaks logic. You've checked the room, you've locked the door. How can they already be inside with you? It suggests you're not dealing with a normal intruder. You're dealing with something else entirely. And in the end, that's what it all boils down to. The master key, the broken latch, the missing employee with a key of her own. The fear isn't just about one scary night. It's the chilling realization that the safety we think we have is paper thin. So the next time you lock a hotel door, you really have to wonder, who else has the key?